Hello. So our project is E1796, which is Unify Create Assignment and Edit Assignment Pages. In the present implementation of Expertisa, when a when a professor wants to create a new assignment, we just have a general view of the assignment create page, which just asks for the assignment name, course substance, directory, and the teams or the deadline assignments, and only this is the only information which you can give while creating a new assignment. While when we attempt to actually give other all metrics, we need to actually go to the edit assignment page, and only then you're allowed to give the topics or rubrics or review strategy or the due dates for the particular assignment. So our project mainly deals with unifying the view for new assignment and as well as the edit assignment pages. That is, we would like to have the same view as the edit assignment shows in the new assignment itself, so that when a professor creates an assignment, he should be able to actually give all the metrics at the same time instead of navigating again back to the edit page to give the other metrics. And apart from this, the other the other parts which we deal in this project are to validate the user entries, which is the submission directory, which actually states that it's a mandatory field and there are no spaces or special characters. It does state though, but it actually doesn't validate on the background. So we need to implement the validations for such fields or for the assignment names for not to be nil and other description URL. So these are the validations which we'll have to be implementing. And at the same time, when you actually save an assignment with say a different name, when you save it, the page actually reloads. So we want to avoid the reload and create an Ajax request which doesn't actually reload, but it just saves without the refreshing being done, which is being implemented at this point. And at the same time, give a message whether it's being saved or not in the Ajax request. And we will be also checking the tooltips, which are these checking the tooltips which are actually supported in all the other browsers as well, that is Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, that all these tooltips are actually working fine with all the other user interfaces so that there is no problem anywhere. So we'll go ahead and we'll show the implementations of this project. So before we jump right into the implementations, I would like to clear a few things about how the editor design page works so that it's become easier to understand our implementations. So in general, when you on the edit assignment page, whenever we even click a tab or when we change a tab, a say request is sent on the background and the metrics are being saved whenever you shift a tab. So in this case, when you want to have the same view for a new assignment page, we can't actually do that because on every tab or every change of tab, it needs an assignment ID to update whatever values you give. But in case of new assignment page, we don't have an assignment ID yet because we didn't yet create the assignment. Almost all the tabs are very strongly related with the assignment ID because all of them work using the assignment ID and then retrieving the assignment and then working on the updation of those assignments. So now our new implementation of new assignment field has all the views except for the topic views. That is because in the topics view, the tab, as you can see, the edit assignment page has tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, so on, all the other tabs. In the case of topics tab, the tab fetches an assignment ID and then it renders a sign up sheet and or a sign up sheet which has I sign up topics, and this is strongly correlated with the assignment ID. So for this to be changed, a lot of the database design which is presently in implementation has to be modified, while the other tabs just are partial renders. So during that we don't face such a problem, though we have a problem of fetching the assignment ID, which we'll be fixing it. So in this case, the only limitation we had is the tab for the topics couldn't be implemented since it is strongly related to the sign-up sheet which has assignment ID linked to it. So now, as you can see, the create new assignment page has general, rubrics, review strategy, due dates. So for each of them, they have all the separate views. So now we don't want to save as it saves in the edit assignment fit for each of the tab change. So what did we do to avoid that? Now we'll see what are the changes which we did. So the new assignment page, we created this is the previous view which was present for the new assignment page. Now we created a new view which has all the which where we rendered the different tabs for it, we rendered the different views, and then we create the form which is viewable, as you can see, as we have seen just now, and the general Ajax, the jQuery request on the submit buttons and the save buttons, which were actually implemented even in the edit page. Now, what the different where did we differ? Where did we differentiate between the tab changes? For that, in general, when we create a save request, this is the this is the metric, or this is the params which is completely passed. The assignment form has all the details, as you can see, the assignment questionnaire, the due date. All of these have an assignment ID, which, in case if there's no assignment ID, they don't have a possibility to save whatever data is available. As you can see, in case of this, you don't have an assignment ID. So in our new assignment page, we didn't actually allow them to create. So when you click or create on a new assignment page, it sends a request to the assignments controller, where it goes to the create function. So what happens if we created a condition or blocking it from saving and then updating all the other tabs with the assignment ID it needs? So we create an if params button, and then after we click save, it creates an assignment nodes, and then it finds the assignment, and then we create an assignment ID, and this assignment ID is assigned to all the other tabs, all the other metrics for assignment questionnaire, or due date, and then for each of them, for each of the metrics. For example, the array has multiple metrics. For example, if you have due dates of, like, if you have multiple due dates, then it has an array. So all the arrays are updated with the assignment ID, and only then it creates. So when we send a new new when we create a new assignment, and when we give all the metrics, and then when we save it, all the other metrics are assigned with a new assignment ID which is created, and then they are updated into that particular assignment. As you can see, then we update the values into the assignment. So this is how the implementation of this new page is working. As you can see, we'll just create a new assignment, say assignment 111 with a course 7, a submission directory F17, and then you give rubrics, say area of focus, the feedback, review strategy, and you can just give whatever other metrics you want, and then you save it, create it. So now we're creating a new assignment. So these were the limitations, and that is how we handled the differentiation part of that particular page. So now once we click save, we redirect the new assignment page to editing assignment if you wants to edit the assignment further. So in this edit assignment page, there are a few limitations on the different tab views. So we'll see one by one. The late, for example, the due dates tab has an input of the due date assignment ID and the assignment form, and then the assignment form dot assignment ID in a single string, as in a single string, and it has this assignment ID in an ERB format. So we had to separate it so that it doesn't actually send a garbage value when you just open the new assignment page, to avoid that from happening. So we had to break the HTML tags into separate lines, and then in case if there is no assignment ID as in generated at that point of time, it just holds a null value, as we have seen in that uh, assignments questionnaire. As it just holds a null value at that point of time, or else it just takes up garbage value in this present implementation. And similarly, the same thing happens on the rubrics. Even over there, the same implementation has the same problem. So we fixed it by separating the HTML tags line by line, and then separating the different, not allowing it to take an assignment ID by random. These few fixes which you had to do under the things, and at the same time, One other implementation of a project is the Ajax request. And how did we do that? So the form 4, which has an HTML tag of ID assignment form, we give a remote true, which states that this particular form submission is not a HTML request but an Ajax request. The remote true value is essential, which which tells the form submission on the background that this is not a HTML form request but it is an Ajax request. But at the same time, as of now, when you save it, it just saves it, but we at the same time we want to know whether it is actually saved or not. And for that, we created a few flash notices, starting with the application GS. So we have added a function for the Ajax complete and Ajax error for that particular event and for that particular request, and then that particular view is rendered under the general, where if the notice is present, if there is a error or if there is a success, if we actually if it is updated or if it could not update it, so then it shows that it doesn't update or it is successful update or there is an error. So this is the Ajax implementation of our of in this project, and at the same time we have to validate the user entries. For validation, which has to be done in the model, we validate. There's already the validation for the name, which makes sure there's no blank name. At the same time, validate the directory part with the uh, stating that our implementation has no request for it doesn't allow any special characters and only the name. So those guidelines were implemented, and in case it doesn't meet those guidelines, it doesn't allow the assignment to be saved. So that is all the changes which we did. Now, for example, if you would like to say submission, if you like to put the submission directory with some special characters, it is not reloading, and at the same time, it gives a message saying error, failed to save assignment. While previously it saves the page, it reloads the page. So in this case, for example, say F189. Now, if you try to save it, it successfully gets updated. So in this way, the page doesn't reload, but at the same time sends the request back to the Ajax. In case if you want to see whether that page has actually been saved, just go to the assignments and check whether this was particularly saved. Meanwhile, there are a few test cases which we have implemented for the assignment creation. Is whether it is able to show the view, is able to show the different tabs, it is able to show the different deadlines, different tab rubrics, and the attributes in the rubrics. Is it able to set the review strategies? It is able to set the number of reviews, due dates tab for the view form. So these all have been checked thoroughly with all the different views, whether they're actually being updated or not. So even if you update something, save it. It doesn't reload, but it gets saved as it says successful updated. So these were the few test cases which were implemented in our project. And finally, coming to the tool tips, we checked the tooltips whether they were working or not in different pages. See, this is an Internet Explorer we were navigating through all the tooltips and checking whether they had the views, they had the message which has to be shown. Whether, for example, this says create assignment, so whether it is showing or not. This one is for the Internet Explorer, and this one is in the case of Firefox. And at the same time, as we can see, we're working on Chrome and Safari. It does work. Edit or delete. So it shows all the things. Now this was the assignment which we created and edited and saved using the Ajax request. Now we'll see whether this data was actually updated on the background. So as you can see, F18, this was the submission activity chain which get updated. So we had no page reload, and at the same time we saved the different topics. And then the rubrics BIT115 PLO. This was the change which I latest made it on the rubrics part. So even that gets saved. So each and every update or each and every tab updates are automatically being saved using the Ajax request. So that is what our project dealt with, handling the creating a new assignment page and validating the user entries, fix tooltips that won't work. So we checked through all the different browsers for any tooltips not working. Change the save button of the Ajax request into an Ajax request so that it doesn't actually reload the form but actually saves it. So that is all from us. Thank you for your time.